If you have been considering about moving to Miami, in this video I'll share with you the things I hate about living in Miami and the things I really love about living in Miami. My name is Barreda and I'm a real estate advisor here in the city of Miami. Consider subscribing to my channel as I post videos like this every week trying to help sellers and buyers during this stressful but exciting process. So for me, con number one is the weather. But hear me out before you start screaming at me. Weather is technically great in Miami, I would say for 70% of the year. The rest of the year in summer is good weather, but it gets so humid and it rains every afternoon. Basically when it's like noon, it's basically unbearable to be walking outside. And if you want to do outdoor things like going for a jog or a walk at 3, 5, 6 p.m. forget about that because it's basically going to be raining in the afternoon. Which brings me to the first pro of living in Miami, which is the weather. Weather in Miami is great. You could be playing golf in December, you could be enjoying trips to the beach with the family in January. You could basically do every outdoor activity you can imagine all year round in Miami. If there's a cold front up north, you could still make dining reservations outside in a restaurant. So who doesn't like the weather in Miami? So the second con of living in Miami is public transportation. It's made some strides in the last few years, but it's still way behind cities like New York, Washington DC, Boston. The city is growing a lot and the public transportation is trying to keep up with the growth of the city, but it still hasn't gotten there yet. They have the Metro Mover, which you can use for free, and it takes you all over downtown and Brickell. They're adding more stops to the Metro Rail. I think last time I read they're adding a stop in Aventura Mall and they're adding a stop in Miami Beach. You can also take Brightline, which is a train that takes you from downtown Miami to Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. Now they're building a station in Orlando where you're going to be able to go from downtown Miami straight to Orlando. So the second pro of living in Miami is state income taxes. Last time I checked, state income taxes in New York for the upper tax bracket is around 11%, and state income taxes in California for the upper tax bracket is around, I think, 12%. So you know how the state income taxes for the upper tax bracket is in Florida? Zero, nada. So con number three. To me, con number three is cost of living. The cost of living in Miami is 14% higher than the national average. If you combine that to the shortage of real estate inventory that there is right now in the market, I would say it's even higher in the last couple of months. What you could rent for $2,500 last year is basically costing you $3,000 to rent the same apartment right now. So I would say the problem is even bigger right now. So pro number three is that there's always something to do in Miami. There's lots of things happening in the city all year round. You could basically go to any major sporting event you can imagine. Tennis, basketball, baseball, football. We even have a professional hockey team. Yeah, that's hard to believe, but we have a professional hockey team in Miami. Formula One just signed a 10-year contract with the city of Miami also, and we even have one of the biggest art conventions in the world, which is the Art Basel, that happens every year in December, during the month of December in Miami. So con number four for me is drivers in Miami. Driving in Miami can get crazy. My opinion is that there's a lot of people from different countries, South America, Europeans, Caribbeans, Asians, you name it. So when you bring all these people together that come from different countries that have different traffic laws, you can get some crazy stuff happening in the streets. So pro number four is how international the city has become. This is like a melting pot of different cultures. You obviously have the Cubans that have been here for the last like 60 years. Now you have Venezuelans, Colombians, and a lot of other cultures from South America. You have Caribbeans, you have a lot of Europeans, you have Canadians that used to be snowbirds and decided to relocate to Miami, and now you have the people from California and from New York that decided to move permanently to Miami. So basically you have every culture you can imagine, you'll find it in Miami. And the last con for me of living in Miami is the parking. When you find a parking spot, if you find it, it's going to be really expensive. And remember, this is not a city that is made to use public transportation, so you'll have to take your car everywhere. And the last pro of living in Miami to me is the food. And this comes hand in hand with how international the city has become. You obviously have your classic Cuban restaurants and your classic Latin restaurants, but now you have your Venezuelan restaurants, Argentinian restaurants, Colombian restaurants, and one of my favorite Latin foods, which is Peruvian restaurants. If you haven't tried your ceviche or the lomo saltado, you should. And right now, with all this European influence coming in and all this international influence coming in, you have great Italian, Spanish restaurants, and you have a lot of famous places from New York opening here in Miami also. So if you want something casual, or if you want fine dining, you can find anything here in Miami. So if you're really considering moving to Miami, I know what you're going through. My wife and me, we relocated from Puerto Rico 4 years ago, and we know how stressful this process can be. And honestly, I'm here to help. Last month, I helped a client from California buy a home in Coral Gables. Now she's under contract on a second home. And 2 months ago, I helped a couple from Washington, D.C. relocate to downtown in Brickell. So I know the process, I know the steps, and I would love to help you during this stressful process. So if you're really considering relocating, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm in this business to help people, but honestly, at the end, I want to build long-lasting relationship with people and with clients, so I can be their trusted real estate advisor for years to come.